We are fast approaching the most wonderful time of the year, and that is Shorty September. I was nervous, I was worried, I was anxious because Bert from Past Story Time, who runs Shorty September every year, is having a break from YouTube at the moment, and you know, I was really worried about what was going to happen with Shorty September. But Heather, from Too Many Heathers, who has been Bert's co-host, has kept the lantern alive, and I couldn't be more grateful. I love Shorty September. It's a really fun readathon, and I cannot wait to be doing it again. So the good news is the good work continues in Bert's absence. So Shorty September, if you don't know, is a readathon in September where we read all the short books, and that can be whatever's short for you. For me, that's under 200 pages. And Heather has reinvigorated the Shorty September prompts this year and is running the readathon with co-hosts Karen from Roving Reader and Crystal from Favourtite Reads. I will make sure that I have linked their announcement videos below, and I have a plan to share with you my TBR and some recommendations for the prompts. But today we're doing the Shorty September tag. So this is new to Shorty September. The tag is new this year, and I feel privileged to be among the first to be tagged to do this. So here goes. Much in the spirit of Shorty September, some of these prompts are a little unhinged, and they're all centred around short books. So prompt number 1, share a book on your TBR you're most excited about. So I think I'm most excited about reading This House by Sian, which is translated from the Welsh by Susan Walton. This is by a press called 3 Times Rebel, which I'm also really interested in getting to know a bit more, and this will be my first Welsh book. Ooh. This is about a woman who lives alone in an isolated cottage when her day-to-day is interrupted by the arrival of a young man, and they strike up a relationship which exposes some of the protagonist's past. It says that Sian writes with economy and precision. That's catnip for Kerry, setting out what the life of a middle-aged woman with an emotionally complicated past feels like from the inside. I think that sounds absolutely superb, and I'm really confident I'm going to love it. So that's the one that I'm most looking forward to reading for Shorty September this year. Next question. What's your fave Shorty September prompt and an idea for a new one? My fave Shorty September prompt from last year was paper bag shorts, and I'm sorry to say that's not back this year. So paper bag shorts was where you had to go and buy a new book, a new short book, and hope that they gave it to you in a paper bag, which most independent shops do. So yeah, any prompt which encourages book buying, I'm here for. So I hope that returns again in the future. And if I were to suggest a new prompt, I think the first thing that sprung to mind was linen shorts, and that would be to read an old lady book. Now, Aaron from Aaron Read a Book or Aaron Read a Book coined the term old lady book. Aaron's reading tastes and my reading tastes are quite disparate, but if you were to do a Venn diagram, old lady books is where we meet in the middle. So that's what I'd like to see on the Shorty September prompts list in the future. Linen shorts for old lady books. That could be a book written by an old lady. That could be a book that an old lady might enjoy, or it could be a book about an old lady. You choose. Yeah, so there you go. For what it's worth, that's my suggestion. Linen shorts for old lady books. Okay, the next question is, what's your fave shorty book of all time or from a past Shorty September? So it's becoming a slight running joke, maybe an annoyance for you as somebody who watches, but I seem to be mentioning this book in every video since I've read it, but it's true. So my fave shorty of all time, I think, is going to have to be A Room Above a Shop by Anthony Shapland. If you love that concise, very beautiful but very curated sentence writing, you'll love this. If you love a book that is quiet and yet incredibly powerful, if you love a queer read, if you love a book that will make you sob, this is where you need to go. A Room Above a Shop by Anthony Shapland. I am confident this is a favourite of all time. I read this earlier this year. But my favourite shorty from last year's Shorty September was All Yours by Claudia Pineiro, translated by Miranda France, I think. Yeah, look at me remembering stuff. Well done, brain. So I read this for Rip Shorts. Now, Rip Shorts is my least favourite prompt, I think, because it's to read a book that's like a thriller or a slasher. And they're not usually my choice of genre. But I loved this. Ines is an extraordinary character. Her husband tells her he's been called into work one evening and she follows him. And what happens is she thinks that she sees him murder his what do you call that? Oh, I celebrated too soon. What do you call it when somebody's having an affair? She thinks she sees him kill the woman that he meets and decides to try to help cover up whatever happened there. And yeah, it's about as unhinged as it sounds. It's wonderful. I really, really loved All Yours. I also read the sequel to this, which isn't a shorty, but just as an aside, it's called Time of the Flies, earlier this year, which is like a completely different book, but also very good. Claudia Pineiro's writing is really interesting. So if you've tried her before and not enjoyed her, I'd still urge you to try this, because I had read Eleanor Knows, not really got on with that, but absolutely loved this. That was a lot to say about All Yours, but this was my favourite from last year. The next question is to share a book that you think probably should have been a shorty. So a book that was maybe a bit too long. For me, that was Butter by Asako Yuzuki, which was translated by Barton. I think this book was massively mismarketed. It was kind of promoted as a sort of mystery thriller about a murderess who was killing the men that she was having affairs with. And whilst that is contained within the book, that's very much not what it's about at all. And so I think this kind of set up my expectations incorrectly. It was very much a slow burn character study, which ordinarily I wouldn't mind, but I just found it tedious and boring, and I wonder if some of that was to do with my expectations going into the book in the first place. But what it did, I think, could have been achieved in far fewer pages. And then lastly, the last prompt is to recommend a book that captures the vibes of this photo of Bert and his feet and his socks. So for me, instantaneously, the book or books that sprung to mind are the Monk and Robot series by Becky Chambers. Firstly, they're a duology, you know, like friends, sock friends going together. But also they're about a pair of friends. They are warm and cosy and big-hearted books that make you think a little bit philosophically about the world, see things from a slightly different perspective, much like these socks. So those are the books that I would recommend based on that photo of Bert's feet. Great, so that's the Shorty September tag. I am going to tag some people. I don't usually do tags, and when I do, I don't like to tag people, but I really want to support the Shorty September cause this year. Okay, so I am going to tag Philip, I'm going to tag Candy, I'm going to tag Sarah, and I'm going to tag Charlie. But if you've watched this, the only reason I'm not tagging Aaron, actually, as an aside, is because he's already tagged in the original. But if you are interested in doing this tag, please join in. I would love to see loads of people take part. It's a really great fun readathon. It is slightly unhinged, which is why it feels like home to me. So yeah, I'd love to see what everybody's reading, and if you're planning to take part, please let me know in the comments. I will make sure that announcement videos are linked below. that the tag video is linked below, that the people that I've mentioned are linked below. And watch this space, because very shortly I will be sharing with you my TBR and some recommendations for the prompts specifically for this year. I hope you're looking after yourself, and I will see you again in the next video.